I'm Peter Fulton, I'm the Detective Superintendent, Head of Professional Standards. So professional standards departments are in every police force up and down the country. And our role really is to prevent people doing things wrong, improve culture within a force. But unfortunately, when things go wrong, what we end up doing with is what's called a discipline framework. So we will deal with cops and members of police staff in the force who do things wrong, from crime through to smaller misdemeanours, and we will take them through what we call the disciplinary process. And that can be anything from some reflective practice for minor matters. So where you did something that was foolish or a little bit silly, you will get some reflective practice so you don't do it again, all the way up to you'll end up at a hearing with a legally qualified chair where you'll sit on a disciplinary panel where the ultimate sanction will be that you'll be dismissed. And beyond that, obviously, criminal matters, you could end up in prison exactly the same as any other criminal who commits a criminal offence. So my role as the Head of Professional Standards is to essentially review conduct and decide on the gravity of it. PC AFTAB, for instance, was a case where some serious sexual innuendo and harassing behaviour was put towards a female, and that would be typical of an incident. That would be gross misconduct. PC AFTAB's an interesting case. Here's an officer who was working as a response officer, finished his shift one evening, jumped in his car. It was in COVID times, so he's driving along in his car and sees a young lady jogging at the side of the road who he thinks, oh, she's quite attractive. So in order to grab her attention, he drives his car, bumps it up on the curb, stops it, jumps out and introduces himself. The young lady doesn't want to know, she's out for a jog, and kind of is trying to get rid of him in the nicest possible ways. So he uses words such as, oh, don't worry about that, I'm a police officer, there's nothing to be scared of. He produces his warrant card to try and calm her down and reassure her, and she's adamant, look, I just want to get on my way. He then starts to engage her in further conversation using terms that are inappropriate and sexualised, showing her pictures of himself on his phone, about how he works out in the gym and asking if she'll work out with him. The lady's so distressed at the time that she actually on her phone texts her partner, help me, and that is how much of an impact this individual had on her. She's then able to extract herself from him by giving her his number that he asks for, so they exchange numbers, and then she makes off and then reports it to police. Fortunately, we're able to identify the officer. So we take that officer, we investigate it, we interview him, he gives an account. I assess it as gross misconduct, which means he ends up going to a gross misconduct hearing. At that panel, the panel didn't think that his behaviour was sufficient, that he should be dismissed, so he's given a final written warning. In consultation with my Chief Constable, we vehemently disagreed with that in BTP, so we ended up judicially reviewing the decision of the panel. He went to the High Court, where the judicial review found that BTP were right and the officer was subsequently dismissed. And that's a really strong message for anybody who comes in contact with British Transport Police officers and staff, that we do take these things really, really seriously. And just because someone makes a decision, if it's not the right decision, we will fight it.